How's it going, guys? This is the Core 3 from fightinggamesonline.info, and this is Fighting Game Tips and Definitions Reloaded. All right. So, this is basically a revision of the old one I did. I had something more elaborate planned, but I just can't seem to get all the right pieces to put it all together. So, this is a series for people who are new to fighting games. People who are just trying to improve, or if you're just curious about the intricacies of fighting games. This is for you, all right? So basically, I'm breaking this down into parts based on pro players, laughs, theory about three essential things that make a good fighting game player, all right? Those three things are the mind, the heart, and the body. The mind essentially deals with the knowledge element of fighting games. The heart basically deals with your decision making, and the body is basically your execution. The main theory is that you at least have one of these three strengths, but will of course need to strengthen all three to get to a much higher level of play. Now, before we get started, just understand that fighting games are very fast paced, so it can take a while to adjust to things I'll be covering throughout the series. My advice is after each video, take some time and practice a little of what you learn, and once you feel like it makes sense to you, come back and then watch the next one. The main objective of this series is to help you not only improve, but develop a greater appreciation for fighting games in general. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So the first thing I want to cover in this video is movement. Movement has changed a lot over the years when it comes to fighting games, and it's actually one of the main features that gives fighting games its own identity. All right. What makes movement such an important part of fighting games is mainly due to one thing in particular, and that is positioning. Movement is included in both the offensive and defensive ends of the spectrum, and you'll understand this more as we move forward. All right. So let's take a look at a few fighting games and their movement. All right. Here we have Street Fighter V, where you have your basic walk, which is basically, just moving you back and forth. All right. So just, back and forth, basically your basic movement. All right. Then you have your basic jump, which allows you to move in a neutral position, forward, and then back. Lastly, there's crouching. And that's usually the most basic, common thing you'll find in fighting games, okay? Where things usually start to differ for each game is the intermediate movement. For example, Street Fighter V has dashing, all right? So this forward dash, that tends to be a lot more aggressive, kind of sort of like used to kind of keep like pressure on your opponent. Just a more aggressive thing to do. All right. Then you have, of course, backdashing. And what backdashing does usually is kind of like a retreat. It's kind of to get away. Sometimes it's to dodge, avoid, and that's basically your basic movement. All right. So let's move to another game like the King of Fighters. So what you'll see here is instead of forward movement being a dash, it's a full sprint. All right. So there you go. You can see there he's running. Okay. Now, of course, the normal normal movement is just the back dash like the other game. Now, King of Fighters also has two types of jumps. Both of which have an intermediate mechanic that allows them to reach much faster and farther. Okay, so here you see your normal jump, right? That'd be your normal jump, but they also have what you call a hop, right? I messed up there. So that's basically your hop. All right. And of course, then you have what you call like a super hop or a hyper hop. I can't remember which, the term was phrased, but yeah. All right. And then of course you have your super jump. All right. So from here, we'll jump to one more game, Dead or Alive. So just give me 1 second here. So basically, just like the other fighting games, you have your walk, back. You can walk back, and you can walk forward, and then of course you have your dashing, right? But where it of course starts to get different is basically what you call sidestepping, essentially. So as you can see, she kind of walk around the opponent, and then she has different types of moves basically that allow her to, that was a mistake, kind of just, move a certain way. So whether intermediate or basic, knowing your movement is pretty quintessential part of fighting games, and as such should be the first thing that you master before doing anything else. Okay. Before I end this, I want to cover one more thing, and that is unique movement. Unique movement is character specific and is usually tied to a command of some sort. There are definitely other forms of unique movement that I'll be covering later, but for now, if your character has unique movement, take some time and find out how it operates, as you'll be able to put good use to it for offense or defense. So I'm just going to show you one character in particular that actually has a lot of unique movement. Okay, that's Karen. All right. So she, of course, has this move basically where you see her kind of, just rushing in straight forward. But of course, what's special about her unique movement is that it's tied to an attack, right? Oops. Tied to two types of attacks, right? But really what's kind of important here is just the fact that she can kind of, do some moves that are basically going to allow her to kind of rush in when she knocks the opponent back certain distances. So unique movement allows her to get a lot closer than, let's say, her trying to just rush in. As far as her doing a dash. Dash is going to take so much longer to get in versus her unique movement, which allows her to get in a lot closer. And not only that, of course, because it has a follow-up with an attack, it becomes kind of something that they have to guess on, sort of, right? So that's just one of her unique movements, right? The other one is actually locked behind her, what you call her V trigger, right? And basically it just allows her to get out of harm's way. All right. So much faster than her backdash. Backdash is much slower than her V trigger. All right. So that's it for now. Take some time with getting used to the movement to the point that it becomes secondhand nature to move around with your character. And I'll catch you in the next video when I cover normals.